Videocasts on AgView.net brought to you in part by the Home Agency, Purple Wave Auctions, Spring Valley Ltd., and New Frontier Ag.
Mark your calendars for Spring Valley's 25th Annual Production Sale to be held March 4th, 2015 at the ranch near Agra, Kansas. We'll be selling 100 Angus and 50 Balancer bulls. Sire groups include Power Tool, Keneally and Focus, Infinity, Keneally Shrek, PA Safeguard, Consensus 7229, Keneally Cavalry, Upshot, Angus Valley, and Final Answer. All bulls will be DNA tested for enhanced EPDs and carry our full guarantee. Remember March 4th, 2015, Spring Valley's 25th Annual Production Sale.
Today on AgView, we're pleased beyond all response to have former Secretary of Agriculture John Block join us. Jack, 1980s you went to Washington for Ronald Reagan as Secretary of Agriculture. Anything changed between the 80s and the 2000s?
Boy, there's hardly anything is the same. I mean, the farms are all bigger, we're more efficient, bigger equipment, machinery. It's just a new world out there. It's exciting. I kind of miss going down the country road and seeing all these neighbors that I used to see, and now the farms are bigger. But even our own farm, when I grew up, my dad, we had 200 acres and milked our cows by hand. Now we got 4,000 acres, and that's just a big change.
Let's, before we go any further, talk about that crop this year. You still farm in west central Illinois. Harvest in?
Harvest is wrapping up maybe today or tomorrow. I was back driving the combine for 3 or 4 days. They kind of drafted me when I was there, so I did that. But it's a great crop of corn, the best we've had, and a very good soybean crop.
I think it's important to point out that over the course of the years and after you left the Reagan administration, you worked in the retail food industry and have been involved in Washington think tanks and consulting for a long, long time. How do you describe the current state of agriculture in the political world and then also in the world of regulation?
Well, I felt back when I was secretary that we had a large support for agriculture, and we didn't have that many people from the outside trying to tell us how to do our farming and our business. Today we've got quite a number of critics out there, and I'm not sure saying they're all wrong, but I'm saying that I don't think they understand the industry or the business, and genetically engineered crops are, as far as I'm concerned, they're here to stay, and they're absolutely safe, but they're always throwing up questions about them and how we manage the soil, and are we good conservationists? And I think we're great conservationists. And how do we take care of our livestock and animals? Well, certainly, they're going to find examples where animals are mistreated. There's like people get mistreated too, but the vast majority of farmers take very good care of their animals. I've got happy pigs on my farm, and we raise 8,000 a year, and they're not going to do well if you don't take care of them and satisfy their needs.
The marketplace will take care of that, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to be out of business if you don't take care of your animals. It's just like the same as raising corn and soybeans and wheat or whatever. You can't do it unless you have the competitive high technology that really we're competing with in the market today. You have to have it.
Two things coming out of Washington that have got a lot of producers concerned: the EPA and the waters of the U.S. And just this week, President Obama signed a new climate agreement with China. I'm sure you're fully aware of the consequences of those. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, we got a lot of concern about the EPA and waters of the U.S. and how it's an overreach on their part to try to regulate every little ditch and little pond. And I cannot imagine how many permits we'd have to get and hoops we'd have to jump through if they get into trying to tell every farmer, every field, how to do it and what to do. Now that's a very big problem in my judgment.
What about the climate issues? They're not going away. Did we give away the farm, so to speak, with this Chinese agreement?
I don't think the Chinese agreement means anything, because China is not going to live up to it in the end, I don't think, and I don't blame them. And we're being asked to start doing a bunch of things, and I don't think we will. I mean, this is Obama trying to pretend like he's going to get something done.
Well, he's a fellow Illinoisan like you, but politically and in all agriculture, couldn't be two people probably further apart, would there be?
No, I think we're pretty far apart. He would never be at home at a farm in Illinois or Iowa or anywhere else. He knows very little about it and doesn't care much, I don't think.
Final question. Are you pessimistic, optimistic about agriculture in its current situation and looking forward to the end of the decade?
Well, I'm very optimistic. We've come a long way in the last 20, 30, 40 years, and I think we'll keep moving. I mean, listen, everything is changing, and for anybody to pretend like new technology is going to be stopped at the doorstep, it's not going to happen, because that's just the way it is. Everything changes. Our factories are different than they used to be, and we've got all kinds of new technology that we didn't used to have. So it's going to be an exciting future, and I think agriculture, the demand for food is growing all over the world, and so we got a future.
Great. Thanks for taking time to chat with us here at the Farm Broadcasting Convention in Kansas City.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. We've done a few of these before, haven't we?
We have, and I hope we get to keep doing it.
Yeah, let's keep doing it.
Former Secretary of Agriculture John Block was Secretary of Agriculture in the Reagan Administration, then in the retail food industry, and now with Olson, Frank & Wheatie in Washington, D.C. And that's today's report from AgView.